Enemy, but could be a friend. Is that your reason?
I didn't think about him as an enemy, but I didn't think about him as a friend either. And what you said about the new tempo, it gave me an idea of another character.
Yeah. Well, remember, in the 19th century, when there was no ether, no painkillers, no analgesics, people prayed for death when they were in pain, because it was the only way of making the pain stop. And this girl, I don't know what's wrong with her, but the fact of the matter is, if she's this ill, he is a friend if he takes her and stops her. Even today, when people die after a terribly painful illness, we say it was a release. Death is the releaser, befreit, we say of Deutsch. It's that sense of release. And death is the comforter to sleep in his arms. Many people have committed suicide in order to come closer to him quickly. The girl doesn't want to die. She has natural self-preservation instincts, but yeah, let's see what you've made of it with your new thought.
Okay.
I really congratulate you, because I personally believe that's what Schubert meant. I believe that's what he had in mind when he wrote that song. Maybe not the chance for you to play the figure of death with great drama, but simply music making its effect. And if you listen to that music, it's so extraordinarily simple and beautiful. I mean, everybody wants to turn everything into a drama. It's quite natural. We want to make the most of things. I was speaking with Hagar about making something slower so that, in fact, there could be more drama in Das Fell, because otherwise it goes by too quickly. But in this particular thing, it's almost got to sound natural. Natural and friendly. You know, I would only actually say, Emma, that I don't know, you play it absolutely the right tempo, and in the final thing there's a sort of color, but right in the beginning when we have death, you could actually get closer to the key. I don't know if you know what I mean. I'm hearing a bit too many chords. You wanted me to describe. It's a question of this. I'm not actually using the soft pedal.
Neither did I.
No, but the fact of the matter is that you were not playing within the key. You're going, repeating the chords. Now, I'll do it again for you because I did it for the Steinway is a remarkable mechanism because normally we go through the double escapement, it's called, mechanism. When I play a note, ordinarily, I am going through two mechanical phases. But I can also choose to go through only one. And immediately I play within the key, I get a different color. And in accompanying, particularly when you've got these quiet things, that the voice is very quiet, you don't want to actually have the feeling of the whole chord going down and breaking the texture. You actually need to act, I mean, time at the only way you can really get it softer is not allow the key to come fully up and play. You actually, but it takes getting used to, it takes experimenting with. And it's a particular technique that's extremely useful for accompanying because you can do ostinato, repeated notes, chords, but you can hear all the notes, but by putting them within the key, there is a different, completely softer color, which doesn't seem to cut the texture so much. And that can be useful time and again in accompanying. The only way I did it louder the first time, the only way I can make it softer is by not going. It's actually something very physical. Fortunately for the making of the piano mechanics, we can learn to use, in the double escapement mechanism, only using from within one mechanism. And when it becomes second nature, it's very, very easy. It's very good for accompanying because accompanying has to have a color that doesn't detract. When we've got lots of harmony to fill in, for example, the violins in an orchestra can make this sort of sound without attack, but we've got to sometimes fill in large amounts of harmony. That's banal. It's plump, 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 plump. And in the orchestra, all it would be beautiful violins making something much smoother. But we've got to do it on the piano. This is the technique. So, if we were to go, rühre mich nicht an, so rühre mich nicht an.
Oh, sorry.
Go on.
Sorry.
Gib deine Hand, du schön und zart gebild, bin Freund und komme nicht zu strafen.
I'm making all sorts of selections about how much to weigh the bass, how little to make the repetitions, but this can only come through the ear, and I'm making it as a result of hearing how much sound she's making and instantaneously making the adaptation. Do you see what I mean? So that I don't pre-plan that. I hear what I hear and try and create the sounds here on this palette that will best support her in terms of the combination of sounds. What piano sound will sound best with where she is. You know, so accompanying is a matter of choice all the time. There's absolutely nothing. Not only have we got to understand the poems and find the moods and the tempos, but we've also actually got to think of texture. And just do sei gutes Muts.
Sei gutes
There's nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly correct, and it's not unmusical. But when death says, "Be of good courage, I am not wild," we may want to get something nearer this.
Sei gutes Muts, ich bin nicht wild.
Sounds easy, but it's terribly, terribly hard. I mean, the notes aren't hard. This is not virtuoso, but how you play the notes, what color you get the notes, what texture you get, all of it. You know, being an accompanist is the most misunderstood profession in the world because everybody thinks that you are simply, somebody said to me, how lucky you are. All you have to do is to play a few notes and you get a front row seat for the greatest recitals in the world. The implication being that all I'm doing is and watching and having a great time and playing a bit. No, it's very, very hard work and very, very, very crucial decision artistic work. And so quite different from if you were playing that as a piano piece, because if you were playing that as a piano piece, it would be beautiful. And if you were playing it as a piano piece, that approach would be too small for solo piano. I'm only thinking of the color that it is in combination with her voice. That is different. Also, we have the lid up. It's quite a big sound. Many pianists actually prefer to play with the lid on the short stick. But it's all these tricks about being pianists that, in fact, are the important things. From your point of view, you've actually made, I think, the correct choice. You're actually making life simple, direct, and more honest in terms of singing this song by not trying to turn him into something that I don't think Schubert sees him as. Even though on YouTube and on Spotify and all these other things, you'll hear many people who are turning it into a huge operatic drama. It isn't so. That's what Schubert is, always more simple, always more direct than we imagine. Okay. Would you like to try it again, or would you like to go on to Auf dem Wasser zu singen?
Can we move on to the next song?
Sorry?
Can we move on to the next song?
Yeah.
Which key would you like it in? We have F minor, F sharp minor, and G minor.
Well, why don't you start with the one that you've decided that you think is right between you? Have you?
Yes, we did.
What did you decide?
F sharp.
Interesting. That's what my instinct would have been, so that it had a little bit of fizz in it as opposed to all very dark F minor.
We actually tried 3 keys and then we went with the middle one.
Yeah. Okay, let's have how it goes. This is one of Schubert's most famous barcarolles, Auf dem Wasser zu singen. You know, nobody was better than Schubert in making water music. Nobody was better than Schubert in making music of every type of water: running water, falling water, waterfalls, seas, lakes, fishermen in lakes, little streams, big streams, mighty fountains. Every single type of water and movement through water is illustrated with Schubert. He is the great composer of water. Das, you know, ich höre ein Bächlein rauschen. We hear playful streams. We hear the streams of the Styx, that is in hell, in Fahrt zum Hades, where the water is thick and nightmare-like. We've just heard a song where a boat is bobbing on the sea. And in this, it's also a boat moving on the water, the waves of a lake, not actually the ocean. Do you know that Schubert never saw the sea?
Yes.
It's amazing. But in this very similar to a type of E-flat minor. It's a sort of impromptu almost. It's an impromptu piano piece with a vocal obligato. That's what it is. Well, let's hear it.
Mitten im Schimmer der Spiegel den Wellen gleitet, wie Schwäne der wankende Kahn. Auf der Freude samt Schimmer den Wellen gleitet die Seele dahin wieder kann. Auf der Freude samt Schimmer den Wellen gleitet die Seele dahin wieder kann. Denn von dem Himmel herab auf die Wellen tanze das Abendrot rund um den Kahn. Tanze das Abendrot rund um den Kahn. Über dem Wipfeln des westlichen Haines winket uns freundlich der rötliche Schein. Unter den Zweigen des östlichen Haines säuse der Kalmus im rötlichen Schein. Unter den Zweigen des östlichen Haines säuse der Kalmus im rötlichen Schein. Freude des Himmels und Ruhe des Haines atmet die Seele im errötenden Schein. Atmet die Seele im errötenden Schein. Ach, es entschwindet mit tauigem Flügel mir auf dem wiegenden Wellen die Zeit. Morgen entschwinde mit Schimmer dem Flügel, wieder wie gestern und heute die Zeit. Morgen entschwinde mit Schimmer dem Flügel, wieder wie gestern und heute die Zeit. Bis ich auf ihrem strahlenden Flügel silber entschwinde der wechselnden Zeit. Silber entschwinde der wechselnden Zeit.
You know, I congratulate you because that's very well prepared from both of you, and Emma particularly, very tricky piano part, and you played it very well. Maybe, and here am I, a person who likes things dry and with not much pedal, maybe I think it was a little bit too dry sometimes. I actually would have liked a bit more feeling. The wave, the waters were a little choppy, if you know what I mean, sometimes. They were a little choppy. And of course, the big secret of the song is the last verse. Could you describe to us what's different about between the first two and the last verse?
As I feel it, the first two could be two paintings, but the last one is really philosophical. It has another meaning. The first two, beautiful picture. It's a beautiful, I imagine how we have a beautiful lake in Hungary, and I imagine how the sun reflects on the water when the sun is going down. In the second, you see these beautiful woods and all the colors in a forest. For me, it's an autumn time, but I guess it's just me. But the second one, I can't really connect it to another painting. I can't really see a picture.
It's
like
not
that.
Balaton, no.
Yes.
It's no longer balaton, no.
It's more like you cannot see time, but it's passing, and we
Like
all
water.
feel it.
It moves through your fingers a bit like water, you
Yes,
know.
and like sand and something which is really, you cannot keep it, you cannot hold it.
Yeah. Right, you've understood that. So the last verse has to have a color, particularly introduced by that regretful word, ach. Ach. But you know, the poem by Stolberg was written for Mein Agnes, his wife Agnes, who died. So in a way, the French have a phrase, tout passe, tout casse. Everything passes, everything breaks. And in a way, time and water and the summer day are going to pass. I saw a picture of Mahler the other day where he was standing against a wall. It's a picture I'd never seen before, but there was this ray of wonderful sunlight on him. And I thought how extraordinary it was that sunlight in 1913, when the picture was taken, was present. We can see that was the moment when that sunlight was there, but when you actually see a bit of time frozen, like water. But the fact is you can never get into the same river twice because the water has gone. I think the Greeks used to say that. You can never get into the same river because the water goes, it's not the same river. But what Schubert does, like nobody else, is the sense of ecstatic melancholy. It's a triumph, it's bittersweet, it's so extraordinary. We can enjoy ourselves, maybe give even more heartfelt feeling to the climaxes. I'll just give Emma a few tips. Just a little more smoothly under the fingers. I'd like to, you'll do it all again in a minute. But,
sorry, I was nervous with the transposition.
Sorry.
Mit dem Schimmer der spiegelnden Wellen gleitet wie Schwäne der wankende Kahn. Ach, der Freude samt Schimmer der Wellen gleitet die Seele dahin wie der Kahn. Ach, der Freude samt Schimmer der Wellen gleitet die Seele dahin wie der Kahn. Denn von dem Himmel herab auf die Wellen tanzet das Abendrot rund um den Kahn. Tanzet das Abendrot rund um den Kahn.
What you could be, particularly in your dotted rhythms, to help Emma, who's got to keep together with you, you could be more exact in your rhythms, Anna. I'm not talking about when you have the 16th notes. Ach, auf der Freunde samt Schimmer der begiert die Seele, di, da, da. And ja, denn von dem Himmel herab auf die Wellen. If you a little den, half den, if you schlep around that, you know, it's going to be very difficult to get the exact ensemble. Denn von dem Himmel herab auf die Wellen tanzet, tanzet das Abendrot rund um die Kahn. What I learnt about this wonderfully from Peter Pears, the great British singer who I first sang this with when I was in my 20s, he sang ta, and as I went into the major key, he changed the vowel of tanzet. Ta, so that actually he went into the major key. As I played minor, it was dark, and the ta, it brightened as soon as I changed into the major key. Because it's a sign that the voice can modulate with the piano on a vowel, from a dark vowel in the minor key to a bright vowel in the major key. Where did you learn to transpose? Have you a music degree or something?
I used to be a horn player.
A what?
Horn player?
A horn player.
Yes, sir.
So you actually played, you were used to seeing things in different keys.
Yes. Because in the orchestra you need to.
Yeah. So something from F minor to F sharp minor is not so hard.
Nonetheless scary.
It's a little scary, yeah. Let's just do it again. I'm going to stand outside it now and talk about it. Better.
Mitten im Schimmer der Spiegel den Wellen gleitet, wie Schwäne der wankende Kahn. Ach, der Freude am Schimmer den Wellen gleitet die Seele dahin wieder kann. Ach, der Freude am Schimmer den Wellen gleitet die Seele dahin wieder kann. Denn von dem Himmel herab auf die Wellen tanzen das Abendrot rund um den Kahn. Tanzen das Abendrot rund um den Kahn.
Yes, be a little bit more rhetorical.
Über dem Wipfeln des östlichen Haines winket uns freundlich der rötliche Schein. Unter den Zweigen des östlichen Haines säuselt der Kalmus im rötlichen Schein. Unter den Zweigen des östlichen Haines säuselt der Kalmus im rötlichen Schein. Freude des Himmels und Ruhe des Haines atmet die Seele im errötenden Schein. Atmet die Seele im errötenden Schein.
Now prepare.
Ach, es entschwindet mit tauigem Flügel mir.
But this is going well. I mean, really very cleanly, beautifully, correctly played, and your rhythm is much better, and your efforts also to modulate on those vowels were a lot better. Can I just tell you, I think in Schubert you can do this much. The ecstasy of that, this is where it's not actually Mozart. You can allow yourself a little bit more rhapsody. It's got such an ache of rhapsody and eloquence. It was almost a little too well behaved, if I can say so. But here, I've always said that great Schubert rubato comes on the bar line. Between the change from the major to minor, you can dare to be a little bit more, to take a little bit more time. It's very rare that I would say that there's that amount of time, but it's like now you've heard the good stuff, and then suddenly you think, oh my God, but this means also that none of this will last. And as you very rightly said, Hana, it is a metaphysical song, and you've got to actually show that.
Ach, es entschwindet mit tauigem Flügel mir auf dem wiegenden Wellen die Zeit.
da da dee da da.
Yeah.
Once you've got over the dee he da ha dee da 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 da, this phrase wieder wie gestern und heute die Zeit,
Okay.
a little bit more strongly rhythmical. Otherwise, it gets a bit like kaugummi, chewing gum, you know.
Yeah.
Da ba 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 wie wieder. Again, as yesterday and today is time. Morgen entschwindet mit schwimmenden Flügel. This idea of ach, es entschwindet mit traurigem Flügel mir auf dem wiegenden Wellen die Zeit. Morgen entschwindet mit tomorrow as yesterday and today. It's all going to disappear between our fingers. And again, Schubert was great poet of that type of feeling that the beauty of the world is so extraordinarily touching that the greatest tragedy would be to leave this beauty. Everybody goes, everybody must go, but to love the world and its beauties and nature and the green and the flowers and the trees so much that the thought of living in eternity without this beauty is making the heart ache. And actually, one of the great things, ladies and gentlemen, about spending a life with Schubert is that he had, in many respects, not a wonderfully happy life. He had no significant partner. He had a father who was very strict and hard on him. He never made a vast amount of money. He never enjoyed huge fame, although actually he was more famous than he would like to admit. He had 200 songs published by the time he died. But at the age of 26, he acquired a venereal infection which clouded the rest of the 5 years of his life. Bad luck. Bad luck. He had a lot of bad luck. But you know, never for one moment do you feel bitterness has gone into the well of his music to turn it into something self-pitying or angry. It's all about giving, and writing, and joy, and the reason why so many people love his music so much is that there is no flavor of Weltschmerz in the same way we find in Mahler. There is no anger and fury and bitterness that you find in Brahms. Instead, despite everything he suffered, there is a purity. There is a purity of, how can I describe it? A purity that remains intact, inviolate, undisturbed, love, altruism, honesty, directness, and generosity to us, the listener, come out, and it's little wonder that people love him. The ecstasy of that feeling of this being by the water, this response to being alive, the gratitude that no matter how hard your life is, you still have the gratitude to be alive with this water, with this summer, with this sunlight, with these flowers, with these melodies. And so many of us take so much for granted when we are suddenly swamped by our own feelings of tragedy and what is wrong with our lives and how everything has gone wrong and how everything could be better and how everything could be this, that, or the other. But he sets us an example. 31 years old and dead. Having written more notes than you and I could write if we were starting at the age of 1 and working every night until 31. God knows how he wrote so many notes onto manuscript papers. But it's all unspoiled, pure, direct. Yes, there's tragedy. Yes, there's pain. All of those big human things, of course. But no, what did I do to deserve this? Why am I so terribly unlucky? When everyone else is tall and beautiful and healthy, why am I bald and fat and ill? Because the gift that came out. I must also say that Brahms once said about Schubert, he inhabited regions every day when he composed that the rest of us cannot go into. And for me, I believe that true. There are lots of other great composers. There are lots of composers who are the equal. God knows, Mozart, Beethoven, Bach. But this mood, the little person who rejoices with all his heart, not hugely favored by, in appearance, short-sighted, unhealthy, unlucky, tyrannical father, born into quite a lower class background. The aristocracy of the spirit is what makes him great, not only his musical gifts. Lots of people can have great musical gifts and be terrible people, but for some reason, coming together, we have the great music and the great perception and sensitivity and understanding and depth, and this quiet little great man. And I think we feel that in this music. I mean, it's giving thanks. So when you actually play this interlude, give thanks for the water, give thanks for the world, allow yourself a little bit of gratitude. We're all such serious students. We all want to be such serious students. Give us a little bit of gratitude. In that case, before the last verse, do the interlude and let yourself go a bit. I don't care if it's too much, better than too little. When you have all these playings, make certain that some of it is lighter than others, okay? See things in 2 bars at a time. Every time, what we were getting is new accent. See over the bar line so that you have one long piece, and be able to throw away some notes. Instead of a singer going, oh, I love you, just phrase it. Just make a little bit of light and shade so all the notes are not of the same equality. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I hope so.
So we actually get some light and shade in it. So it's not all the same. But it's, what a great song it is. What a great song it is. And to close the class, I'm going to ask for a final performance, with you lightening up, with you giving your feelings, and with you, you know, you've actually found the right key. How near are you to knowing this by memory, Hana?
I can certainly try.
I want us, everybody's used the book here. Okay, we have a masterclass, but I want to say that often the ingredient, not everybody, there have been some who've known things by memory. One of the great things of music is to actually filter what that says through yourself in the final analysis so that it's your story. You have to learn it, but it's not Schubert's story anymore. It is what you have to give. Even if you make a memory lapse, this divine song of the water, of the summer, of the joy that goes through our fingers so quickly that today's joy is tomorrow's pain. This philosophical song. It's a good way to end our time together in Jerusalem. So please, let's hear the song. I've enjoyed being here very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a great privilege to be here with these enthusiastic and gifted singers and accompanists working on this repertoire which will keep them occupied, as it has me, for a lifetime. What better lifetime task can there be than to explore riches of this level? I have been lucky to be reminded in coming here of the youthful pleasure that is awaiting a new generation. Thank you for your patience. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.